So I was asking God, how will people be? God told me you can be praying for anybody from now till forever. If their will is not submitted to me, they cannot prosper my way. Jesus said it in John 15, except you abide in me, you cannot produce fruit. He said, abide in me. If anybody abide in me and I abide in them, they will produce fruit. But the greatest resistor of fruitfulness in the life of a believer is his will. I'm talking about the will of man. I do not actually know how to explain the will of man. It's a conglomeration of many things that have happened to you from birth to the time you began to learn, to the time you began to interact with people, and you began to make choices. There is something the Bible was talking about, cutting asunder of soul and spirit. Spirit is very pure. That is, how many of you know it's your soul that drives you? If your soul agrees with your body, you're going to be bodily. If your soul agrees with your spirit, the soul is the motor, is the driver of this tripartite being. And inside that soul is volition, because the soul carries the mind. Volition, the seat of decisions. Where man likes or not like. How many of you know that your spirit could generate a result you do not like it? The Spirit of God could bring a person into your life that you do not like. Jesus was brought to the children of Israel. They disliked him. He came to his own. His own disliked him. God could bring you to a church you do not like. Because what God is doing is not physical. That which is generated by the flesh is flesh. You could be in a place you like and it's your destruction. Lot saw a well-watered place and God has already cast judgment because it was Sodom and Gomorrah. I remember how, no, I don't want to go, it's too personal. A man, let me use it that, a man, after he had married his wife for about 3 years, had the revelation that the wife was a heap of maggots from head to toe. Heap of maggots. And the man ran. He was in a vision. A physical man ran to hug, and the angel said, stop. This is who you marry. I know some of you know what I'm talking about. And some of you know who I'm talking about. God said, I can't tell whether it's in the spirit or physical. 40 years ago, I was caught up to heaven. God will bring something to you except you are spiritual. Paul said, anybody in the flesh cannot discern the things of the spirit, for they are not naturally discerned. And anybody who sows into the flesh, they are going to die. He who sows into the flesh will reap corruption. His death eventually. Death in marriage, death in ministry, death in many things. The things that your eyes have seen, that your ears have heard, that your lips have tasted. You remember, they were in the wilderness coming to Canaan, and they were talking to Moses about the cucumber in Egypt. He said, have you forgotten the cucumber and the onion and the garlic? Hey. God was feeding them with manna and quail. Food was falling from heaven, and yet it meant nothing with them. As a matter of fact, the meaning of the word manna is what is this? That's the meaning of the word manna. What is this? That's what they call it. They say, what is this? That was the food they ate for 40 years. Nobody fell sick. Their cloth did not tear off. Their shoes did not wear out. Everybody was ill and healthy for 40 years without food. In Egypt, the garlic, the onion, the cucumber was making them die. And yet, There is no way. Because even as God was talking to me, he told me, even you yourself, David, you still have your will. Jesus had will. He now told me this evening, as I was driving the children here, he said, it is that will, David, that when somebody offends you, David, you have sown the person love, sown the person love. He said, I have a way of removing my love. He said, God doesn't do that. He said, you just see that the person, you just remove everything. You're now looking for a way to attack the person. I say, ha. Because I'm the one who asked God to be talking to me. He said, ha. He said, yes. Because I was telling him, God, tell me everything. I just want to be fruitful in life. Whatever I've been doing. Then when he began to talk, I said, can we stop? Can we just stop all this thing? And God said, I'm saying it to you because I want you to move it out of the way. I don't know how to explain this thing about we because you just say, it's just my natural liking. I'm just fond of that. It's what I like in life. It's what I want in life. That's why Isaiah got to a point. He was trying to explain something, but there was no way to explain it. He even complicated it in explanation. He said, as heavens are higher than the heart, so are my ways higher than your ways, are my thoughts than your thoughts. So somebody just say, if it's that high, keep it there. What can I do? And God is just saying, if anybody wants to do my will, want to go my way, he has to link up with my taste. He has to see what I'm saying. He has to know what I know. In heaven, Jesus would not have resisted for one bit the death on the cross. On earth, because he himself has eaten bread. That is why they tempted him with bread. But our Lord did by bread alone. They tempted him with bread. They tested Jesus, our Lord, with bread when he was in this body. Bread. He was looking at bread like this. Hey, have you seen Israeli bread before? Jewish bread? Ask my wife. This thing has honey. Ask the bread. You don't even need anything to eat with the bread. You just need one bottle of Fanta. Are you listening to what I'm saying? When I talk about your will right now, it's not what you're thinking. It's not what you are thinking about. It's not just all of it. There are so many things that form your will inside you. That if you just allow God, with a desire that God, have your way like Jesus. Have your way. When it starts, don't stop him. Because by the time it's done with you, you'll be greater than what you were thinking. How many of you will be ready for this? That you are ready for God. It's to do his will. Somebody once asked me, for how long will it take? I said, how does it concern me? How can you dictate for God?